Good evening, Travis.
And yep, it's me, Travis, with 40 Mike, because we resent. We are war.
We are here Thursday nights, bringing you a live stream to share our thoughts on the comings and goings in the veteran community. We try to keep things positive. We try to keep things going, and try not to let all the happy horse shit keep us down. And we got some good stuff this week. When basically check the gauges, figure out where we're at, physically, mentally, and see how we can go ahead and keep the machine rolling forward in 2026.
So what's going on? What's on your mind tonight?
I have been looking into like the different types of things like that can help, like whether it be meditation, whether it be deep breathing, grounding, mindfulness. There's just so much within like the VA whole health system. Like if you ever go to the website for the VA, va.gov, and you check out the whole health tab, I'll post it here in a second. But there's just so many resources available out there. I mean, you can even go to your primary care and say, hey, I'd like to get acupuncture for, the pain that I'm going through, the chronic pain I have. And they will actually send you up to 3 times a year to get acupuncture. And like the VA isn't, it's not your dad's VA anymore. Things are being updated, the holistic approach is being, fine-tuned and worked on. And even home-based program, which we're fortunate enough to have here in Massachusetts. And, the other locations, Georgia, Florida, I'm not sure where else the W.A.R Care Network is, but they're all connected with home base. Emory College, Red Sox Foundation has a home base down at the little fake Fenway down in Florida. And
But it really is. It is a fake Fenway.
And like, so the big thing that we want to show people is like, there's so much you can do with it. And one of those things that home base really hit on that was cool was they took all the stuff that we had, when COVID hit, they couldn't bring people in the office. So they created a whole section of stuff and say, look what we've got here. We've got all of this stuff that we can train, but you can do it at home. And one of those things is nasal breathing. It's where you're breathing out, one nostril and then the other one. And I've got a short little video here from home base that I would like to air real quick to kind of show what it is. So you get a better understanding of it. So here it is.
Hi, my name's Kayla Furbish, and I'm a member of the Health and Wellness team at Home Base, a partnership of the Red Sox Foundation and Massachusetts General Hospital. Our goal at Home Base is to provide you with exclusive, on-demand health and wellness content that you can share with your family, friends, and the rest of Home Base Nation. Today I'd like to share a pranayama practice called Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. Nadi Shodhana is a balancing breath, and it helps to regulate the autonomic nervous system, so the balance between fight or flight and rest and digest. This breath uses a hand mudra, or a hand position, and options for that include folding down the first 2 fingers of your hand, your pointer finger and your middle finger, and then using your thumb and your ring finger to alternately block each side of your nostril. If that's not comfortable, another option includes using the same 2 fingers, the first finger and the middle finger, and placing them at the brow point, and then using your thumb and your ring finger to alternately close the sides of your nostrils. And finally, if neither of those options are comfortable, you can always use your pointer finger and your thumb and alternate. So to begin, come to find a comfortable seat where you can sit in an upright position with a tall spine, maybe sitting with your legs crossed or sitting on your heels. Take a hand mudra of choice. So I'm going to fold down my first 2 fingers and use my ring finger and my thumb, And we'll begin by inhaling on the right side. So I'm going to block the left side of my nose and inhale, filling all the way up. And then when I get to the top, I'm going to block both nostrils. Then I'm going to open the left side of my nose and I'm going to exhale all the way. Keeping my hand in the same position, I'm going to inhale on the same side. Pausing at the top to block both nostrils. And then exhaling out the right. As you become more comfortable with this breathing cycle, we can add a specified ratio for our inhales and exhales. So the next time you exhale, whichever side you're on, inhale to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we get to the top, we add breath retention or kumbhaka, holding the breath for a count of 2. 1, 2. Then we exhale from the other side for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue on this cycle for a few rounds, inhaling to a count of 4, holding the breath for a count of 2, and then exhaling for a count of 4.
That's wild. Well, you're on mute, Mikey.
Sorry about that. I knew it was bound to, happen eventually. You only had the streak go for so long before, you mute yourself. But yeah, that was available on the Home Base programs website. I shared the link for that in the comments. So wherever you're streaming this, if you check out the comments, you should see the link to the Health at Home Home Base program resource list. And they've got wellness. They've got stuff if you're cooking at home, if you're exercising, if you're looking to do therapy related to stuff for PTSD, depression, suicide prevention. It's all right there on the site. It's a really good resource.
So what got you interested into, these types of modalities, these types of, ways to, deal with stressors, anxieties, and other things?
Like for me, it was something had to give. Like I was the kind of person that would, take everything in and just bottle it up until it exploded. And just push it down, push it down, push it down. Avoidance, walk away from the scene, avoid the conflict, and then just roll away with it. And then when you blow up, you wind up blowing up against people that you don't intentionally want to hurt. And that's where you get the casualties of loved ones. And when you start doing that, you realize, hey, I'm being a D-bag right now, and there's got to be something I can do to stop that. And that's where I started looking into the alternates, and like speaking with the care team at home base they had recommended these things. They got group therapy, they've got online resources, and they've got their 2-week program that is basically 2 years of intensive therapy squished into 2 weeks, where you go to it and you even have somebody that is in your home, whether it's a caregiver, a spouse, family member that will actually come and do, a couple of days of training as well, so they can be able to better spot your symptoms and signs and catch things before they get too far. And they're able to see, the training that you're getting and get some of the, education too. Because I do think it's important that, significant other are involved in your treatment plan. It's up to you to fix yourself, but it's important that your significant other and your loved ones know what you're doing and know why you're doing it. Like with Jackie and I, like there'll be times where like we'll put a pin in it and come back to it later when cooler heads prevail. And like if I just didn't say anything and she didn't know that's what we're doing, she would think that I'm just saying, see you later, F you, and walking away. So when we, say let's put a pin in it and come back to it, we both are on the same page of what we're doing and we're able to come back and talk and have that level of conversation.
I just I have to think that it's been effectively over 12 years now since we really started hearing the phrase 22 a day and getting a lot of emphasis on this. And I don't know if you agree with this, but it's my understanding from the VA numbers, it's about 17 a day now. So
The a show I watched last week put a good perspective on it and said, if you look at overdoses, accidental overdoses or purposeful, that those really are suicide numbers, and and folks that to have a complication or something and it's not reported because whoever found them didn't want to report it. They're saying that sometimes the number could be close to 40 veterans a day if you add in the overdoses as well.
So regardless of which way you swing on the pendulum or the scales being balanced, there's still work to be done.
Yep.
And we know that pharmaceuticals were tried and are still prescribed, and if they're needed, okay, I'm fine with that. But there's been a lot of stuff trying, but I think this kind of thing allows for this term I'm hearing more and more called post-traumatic growth, because you have to understand as a veteran that you are feeling these PTSD situations and ideations. You are dealing with a whole lot. You are, not in a solid place, but you have these tools to grow out of it. And I didn't know how you felt about that, Mike.
Like for me now, I see it as like, there's a lot of things that go into it, and like the the lethal means safety stuff, having your firearms safely secured, putting time and obstacles in between the thought and the action are really important as well. And I do think that reformulating and making a negative into a positive, with the growth and showing that, hey, you've endured this situation that, has caused you stress, has caused you trauma, but within that, it's also building you up and making you a stronger person. It's giving you the ability to actually, to do things that you physically maybe you didn't know you could do or mentally, could handle. And now you're able to handle it and do it. And that's where I think the growth comes into play.
Okay.
And like, whether it's, doing, stuff that you can do on your own with the, the breathing or, grounding, standing up, feeling your feet on the ground, connected to the earth, swing in the wind outside just so you can feel the breeze hit you. Like anything that you can do could connect to the world, is always good. And, the other thing too is, you also need that support. You need, somebody holding you accountable. You need, your self accountability is there, but also, having a battle buddy to check in with,
Yeah.
Having somebody that, can see your day-to-day actions and knows, hey, something's different with Mike today. He's not, acting like he always acts. Maybe I'm going to give him a call, or maybe I'm just going to show up with a coffee and say, hey, what's going on? Things don't seem, 100% today. Everything cool? And like, that's the big thing is like, a lot of these programs like, QPR, they do these programs to train people and get people out there as the gatekeepers for suicide prevention. And they want that at the lowest level because, it's not your company commander and it's not your battalion commander who need the suicide prevention training, so they can, know when a soldier or a Marine is having thoughts or actions. It's that, that sergeant, that corporal that needs to know so they're able to, say, hey, I see what's happening. And they can, pass up the chain of command and say, hey guys, this is what's happening to us, this is what's happening to us, soldier, Marine, XYZ, let's get some help.
Well, and there's just a sheer number of resources that are out there now. I just want to share something from let me get here. See if I can do this. Oh,
You doing the regular chat or the private?
well, just StreamYard does stuff differently. I keep forgetting that. There we go.
Yeah, it stinks. Is like I get so used to Restream, and like it was such a good resource, and then all of a sudden they were like, here you can log into 8 different places at once to stream, and then it was like for the same price now you can log into 3. So you've got Heroes Wellness Collective .org here. You want to touch base on what they are?
Yeah, it's an org I ran into in 2025, and they are kind of trying it from the top down way. It's a collaboration with Harvard University, which I thought was very interesting. I wouldn't have thought that Harvard would be the place for veterans advocacy, but I didn't know this. Harvard has, I think, the oldest ROTC program in the country.
Wow.
Okay.
Did not know that.
There are just some good resources on there for people who are trying to either A, create programs or train, or B, get help from real professionals. And, I know some people don't want to go to doctors or talk to clinicians, but there's just a lot of work being done in this space by people. And I think we should be able to use, every resource we have if we have it and it's out there. So just check them out.
See if I can pull up a screenshot of the. So what is this? You said it's was it Heroes what?
Heroes Wellness Collective. Oh my God, why am I coughing so much?
A lot of people are dealing with something right now, Travis. Seen it, people posting online, and people, sharing on Twitter and everything that they're getting a strange flu this year, whereas it's affecting them, and then the next day their whole body's sore, and then the next day something else, and they're popping from over-the-counter medicine to Tylenol to stuff for a cough to stuff for a fever, and it's kicking people's butts. So I don't know what we're sharing with everybody, but we're definitely passing something along right now.
I'm telling you. Some people will say, well, it's not really for veterans directly, but I tell veterans, like, look, you can look at this and get an idea of organizations out there that might be in your area or at a national level, and how they support veterans, or can help you provide stuff to, when I say stuff, solutions, healing modalities, care, counseling, other things. these are people that are really doing it. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page of partners, I mean, they have, several,
Yeah,
in the NHL, the Sheepdog movie, other things that are really, different but cool, and how they're trying to be there for people and support this initiative. So it's just something that I got in touch with it last year, and kind of like a New Year's resolution, for lack of a better term, wanted to give it some more attention this year and spread the word.
Yeah, so they've let me see if I can grab a quick screenshot of this. Control minus, make it a little smaller. All right, and let's make that a little bit bigger. All right, I'm gonna take a screen. All right. Yeah, because they've got like a little globe that has their everything that's part of this organization, and I think that will be a little good little thing to show folks that how much is actually in this collective, and like it's right here in our neck of the woods, so if people have the chance to to join and be part of it. They even have their past summits are completely saved on here, so if you missed it virtually or in person, you can actually attend the summit and the briefings held virtually. So that's always good to see and to be able to go back and learn. I'm gonna hide that and pull this up on, and let's get there it is. All right. And so this is what I saw. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
This right here, has got everything that, that they've got. They've got the, the mental health professionals, veterans, first responders, families, corporate sponsors, philanthropic foundations, community leaders and local government officials, educational institutions, government agencies, Department of Veteran Affairs, mental health and substance abuse, healthcare providers, hospitals, nonprofit organizations, first responder unions, organizations, veteran service orgs, and mental health professionals. So I mean, that's you really do have the whole range of services there within this organization. That's really great to see, and that's one thing that you and I are both members of the Greater Boston Veterans Collaborative, but unless the organization is actually out there doing stuff and pushing stuff, all it is just a wealth of information that sits there. So it's important to research these things and to go in them and see how you can work with them and get what you need from them. And I think that's one of the big challenges that we need to figure out is a way to set up things to educate people, because what we have, isn't getting the message out. Because, look at when we went to Vet Fest at the beginning of November, we went up there and we saw all these resources that were, in our backyard that, you and I have never heard about. We haven't been able to share resources with and, partner with and collaborate. And, they're just right there in our backyard. So it's like communication between organizations, needs to improve. And then the care for the community as a whole, can improve with that.
One second.
Yep.
What the hell's going on here?
Because it's just, it's so important, like I said before, we talk about having the circle of support as a battle buddy, but also having a circle of support as, your mental health care team, your your primary care doctor, your psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker. All these people are part of your care team and your circle to help you be the best you. And, you need to ask yourself, is the situation, that you're in, black and white? Are you missing things with shades of gray? You want to make sure that you're seeing things clear. You don't want to, be stuck in your mind and be thinking worst case scenario all the time. And identify what's actually wrong and what you should be worried about versus, the whole, the what ifs and the shoulds, and because it does it, your brain becomes your own worst enemy and really can, dig you into that hole. And, the biggest thing that I always take out of, I saw at the bottom too, they're connected with RAND, and RAND does really phenomenal studies on organizations, on communities, and the area that they're surveying to get the information that said organization is trying to understand better. And things that they said, like when they did a study over at what's the big hospital thing, they have when the casino came in, they built the apartments for veterans right there in where is it? Why can't I think of the name of the place? It's it's also it's got a homeless shelter. It's got 50 apartments for veterans. It's a big thing. It's TRICARE is in the building. They've got a lot of doctors there.
Huh.
It's where Hellfish Haven was when we first launched.
Oh, okay.
I just got a mental block right now. I can't think of the name of the place, but it was in Brighton. It's right next to St. Elizabeth's. That's gonna bug me. Oh, where is the phone? I should type Veterans Resources near St. Elizabeth's. And don't forget tonight, you got a special guest that wants to say hello to everybody before we sign off here tonight. So I got to make sure that we do that. Brighton Marine.
That's right.
Yep. So Brighton Marine, they have that giant building. When they came in to set up the casino, one of the ways that they bribed the city was they built this giant, brand new, whether you call them condos or apartments for veterans and disabled veterans to be able to live in. And, they go there and the price is, sometimes half of what the average price to rent in the community is. And, you get a parking space and things like that, where if you rent, a place in Boston, when I lived in Cambridge, the apartment was 900 square feet and they wanted $3,000 a month for it. And then if I wanted a parking space, it was another $1,600 a month. It was just you guys are charging, $4,600 for a 900 square foot apartment and, a parking space. It blew my mind that people have the audacity to do that, but that people are paying it, and it makes sense why, some people don't have cars when they're in the city.
It's hard driving in Boston, man. It's just I get crazy every time I got to go to, not crazy, but just here we go. It's going to be the Grand Prix going to Jamaica Plain, for a VA appointment. Downtown's no picnic either because there's just nowhere to park.
Yep.
There are places to park, but you are going to pay for that privilege.
Now, when you go to Jamaica Plain, do you want to go on the parkways to get up there?
Yeah, but that's no picnic either because there's all the, it weaves in and out and it's not a straight shot there. And,
And these roads were built, for horse and buggies, and not the giant cars that are made for today, with all the SUVs and everything. And it's like you come around the corner sometimes, and you got that tree that's sticking out, a foot and a half into the road, and it's like I know the wife, every time we're on the Jamaica Way or that area, she's always like clutching the wheel or like holding onto her seatbelt, being like, I don't like this.
No, it can be something else, man.
It does, like, and for an area like all of Boston, was it 3 years ago or was it before COVID? Like everything went from 35 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour.
Yep.
And, nobody is actually driving 25 miles an hour. It's just not feasible to be able to run and operate the town and the city. People getting from point A to point B if they're only able to go, 25 miles an hour. So, nobody's actually doing it, and it's just wild to see. And, like, we just want to, like, you see you're flying, and, like, then you got people going, like, 50 or 60 miles an hour around those little turns, and it's like, I can see why the wife's clutching the steering wheel.
It's nuts.
And then, like you said, you go over to Jamaica Plain, and, like, for the longest time, they were working on the parking garage. So, like, you had to go and park, 3 or 4 blocks away. And it's like, it just wasn't easy. So now what I do is I'll take the commuter rail into the Back Bay.
Oh, really?
And then take the Orange Line over to Jackson Square. And then I
Okay.
walk it's like 7 or 8 minute walk from Jackson Square over to Jamaica Plain, VA.
Well, it's not so bad in the summertime or fall, but right now it's not something I want to do.
Oh, absolutely. And the black ice and the frigid cold, like, I don't know, but again, you look at the Green Line and it's like, it is so slow. It's got so many breakdowns, there's so many traffic instruments, located along it that you're just not getting anywhere on time the second you step on it. And like, that's the thing that, really stinks is like, they're trying to modernize, the MBTA with everything, but that, the red line is still so far behind that, it's shut down all the time. Like we get, 2 inches of snow and it's like half the lines are down for a couple hours. And it's like, I think between where I was living in Cambridge, there's that area between Harvard and Central Square that they had to drive real slow because like, obviously if they drive fast, it would crumble the street above it.
Huh.
And like that area always has like breakdowns of cars because of like something wrong with like the energy and the way it's set up. And like I've sat in that little space for like 2 hours once waiting for like then to fix where the issue was on the track or with people and push us through. And it's just like, this is why people don't take the public service, and then the prices get jacked up every year.
Yeah. It's just become a real inconvenience. It used to be somewhat convenient, and then you go to other cities, and I try to explain to people. I mean, go to Washington D.C. or the Bay Area Rapid Transit, or Chicago subway is kind of sketchy in some places, but it's designed to run and it has the space to run. This I mean, to your point, you would need to really on some of these, especially the Green Line, rip the entire thing out. I mean, down to the foundation of the tunnel and redo everything.
And what they just added the line over in Assembly.
Yeah.
And it's like they're adding more green lines, and it's like they're not making things better, like, and that's the thing that that drives me crazy. Like, fix what you have before going and making new stuff. It doesn't matter if you have 10 different destinations if only 2 of the lines work.
Right.
And like that's the it's just crazy to see how like everything's changed. Like I don't know, like you knew like Somerville, like when they had like good times up there, like and now like you've got Assembly, it's a completely different place.
No, just I don't know, man. It's just this
Mass
state can be
so expensive to live. Like I don't know if it was you that said it was like we get that veteran bonus or whatever it is, but it's like the cost of living is like so high that's like you get a bonus and then that cost of living goes to it. Oh, it was today. They just released the thing online for the state welcome home bonuses.
Yeah.
There's like a database where you can search and you can put like your date of birth and your name and search to see if you've gotten your welcome home bonus. Is now available. Let me see if I can get the site for that. But folks were like, it is cool that they're getting the $500 welcome home bonus, but after a couple of times of renewing your license plate at $100 every 2 years, that bonus is gone. So it's like you're not really giving folks everything that you think you are when you're still taxing them for their the cars and the excise tax, and you're still taxing property tax and everything. We don't give any deal for that at all. It has not seen me. And disappeared into the Netherlands. But the veterans welcome home search. Let's see if it shows here. So here's the apply for the GWAT. Yeah, so here's the veterans bonus submit inquiry. So you get the the bonuses types and stuff like that. And so you can go and you can submit everything that you have it here. Let's see if I can turn this around real quick to show. But you just show it, mass.gov. And you're able to get everything covered. And like that's if you went to Iraq or Afghanistan, you got $1,000 when you came home. If you did CONUS missions after 9/11, you got 500. If you did CONUS after Desert Storm, there's like 250 to 700, depending on locations. And like same thing, like each generation basically has had some sort of welcome home bonus signed and put into law. So if you lived in Massachusetts before you left and you lived in Massachusetts when you got home from the service, make sure you go ahead and check online and see that you have got your welcome home bonus and that you're getting what you're entitled to.
Yeah.
And Lefty is saying hello. Lefty is a fine folk from the middle of the country. Plays video games at like 3 a.m. Got a nice, voice that soothes you. You can fall asleep watching the stream, and then sends about the 50 people that fall asleep watching the stream to other people. He did that to me the other night, so that way I could, boost up my watch hours on the YouTube. So we got like, I think there was 25 sleepers that were watching his stream, and he's like, I started a live, and then he sent them over to me, so it's pretty cool.
Well, I got my show coming up here in about 10 minutes, Mikey. You want
to tell us what you got tonight?
So I have the writer, director, and producer of Sheepdog the movie, that new PTSD movie coming out that was filmed here in the Amherst area of Massachusetts. Stephen Graham did it, and it's a interesting story, interesting concept, and not like the some of the other PTSD movies you may have seen.
That's awesome. It could be a nationwide release.
Yeah, it's releasing nationwide on January 16th.
Excellent. And then we got a little one that wants to say hello tonight, Travis.
Hey, Emily, how's it going?
You remember me?
Huh?
Do you remember her? She said.
Of course I remember. How could I ever forget you?
Mhm. And then say hi to everybody else. Everybody else over here in the chat. Say hi,
Okay.
chat.
I stopped.
The
Kill him.
chat's not talking. They write stuff. They write stuff.
Oh God.
So Travis is the one I can talk with, and then the chat tells us, with words.
Oh God.
hmm
Now where is that?
And now Travis is gonna get ready to do his show, Oscar Mike Radio. Can you say have a good show?
I got so excited.
Oh, thank you so much, Emily.
And then look, see, Lefty said, "Hey kid,
See,
say hi, Lefty."
Rusty.
And then say, make sure you guys go watch Oscar Mike Radio.
But you guys watch that thing.
Oscar Mike
Oh.
Radio.
Master like video.
Oh,
All right, perfect.
so cute.
Thank you guys for watching us tonight and join us for War. We'll be back next week. We're looking to add some guests, this season. Like you do, it's not the big time guests. It's the local veterans, making a change and making an impact, and be able to showcase what guys have done and how they're still in the fight.
Absolutely, 100%.
Papa better die.
Yeah, public brother
Thing
did
for you,
that.
Mike.
And my mama.
Yep, it's okay.
Maybe
Rico.
Papa
Can you
died.
say good night to everybody?
Night.
Good
Say
night.
sweet dreams, everybody.
See, everybody.
We are Ward. Thank you guys for joining. Stay resilient. Stay in the fight.